lesson today we will be looking for finding the percent of a number. So in this next section we're going to be applying our knowledge of ratios. Yes, ratios. So we're going back a little ways, looking at fractions still, but representing them as equivalents. So we know that the word proportion is a type of ratio. And proportions are equivalent. So one fraction is set equal to the other. We're going to be using the words proportion or equivalent ratios to help us, or equivalent fractions, find the percent of a number. So if you're like, what? I have no idea what you're talking about, Miss Elander. It's okay. You'll know by the time we're finished with this. So first of all, as I'm solving these problems, I'm going to be color coding a lot of stuff. So you're going to want like 4 different colors to be able to solve these problems. It will really help you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a percent proportion. And a percent proportion is just 2 fractions that are set equal to each other. Okay, so here's one fraction, here's one fraction. We know that percents are always out of the number 100. So the number 100 is going to go on the bottom right there, which means that on the top, I am going to be putting a percentage. And then on this side, we're going to look at using the part and the whole. So we're going to have the part of a number, and we're going to have the whole like the whole thing, So part, another word for part is the word is, the is. Another word for whole is of. Okay, so we're going to be using a ratio or a proportion, a percent proportion, that is over of is equal to a percent over 100. So is over of is equal to the percent over 100. So whatever I do on this side, again, I'm going to do to here so that they are equivalent. They can work together. Let's start out first by looking at a math problem, and then this will start to make some sense to you. Okay, so it wants us to find the percent of a number. So it's asking us to find 25% of 40. So they want us to find 25% of 40 is what number? All right, so we have 3 parts to this sentence, or 3 parts of this proportion. 100 is always there, so we're gonna box up this. Sentence here, and I'm gonna show you just how to do that. So get 3 colors that one you can use for is, 1 color you can use for of, and 1 color you can use for percent. All right, so first of all, percent. We have a percent sign. Percent sign is pink, and the thing that we're looking at is 25%. So I'm going to put a box around 25% in pink. Of 40. The word of is touching the word 40. So I'm going to take the color that I used for of, and I'm going to put a box around of 40. And then last but not least, we have is what number. Well, that was orange. And so 25% we have of 40 and we have is what number? So we're going to go ahead and set up our proportion. Again, this is our percent proportion so that we can solve and find what's missing. So I'm going to set this side is equal to this side, and I'm going to put my 100 here. Again, percent always goes on top of 100 because it's a number out of 100. So 25%. So I'm just going to put 25 out of 100. So this here is the percent. This blue right here, this was our of. So where the of is, I'm going to put 40. And then we're looking for is what number. We don't know what this is, so we're going to use the letter X. All right, now we have this side is equal to this side. You can solve this several different ways, right? We can divide 100 by 40 and figure out how to get from here to here and then use that same number on the top. Or we're going to go fishing. Yep, we're going to go fishing in math. And we're going to use something called cross multiplication. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and multiply across 40 times 25. So I'm going to go 40 times 25. And then I'm going to divide by 100. I'm dividing by the number on the bottom, or that third number, so that I can get X. And if you notice, it makes a little fish in the middle. Looks like a fish. So divide by 100. So 40 times 25 divided by 100. And we're just going to pull up our handy dandy calculator. And we're just going to toss it in there and see what we get. So across from each other was 40 times 25. That gives us 1,000. Over 100, or divided by 100, and that's 10. So X equals 10. So this tells us here that 10 is 25% of 40. So if this were something that was on sale for 25% off and it originally cost $40, I would have a savings of $10. All right, let's do another problem. If you don't know what I'm talking about yet, that's okay. You will get it, I promise. Again, we're going to set up a proportion. The problem, this next problem is asking, what is 60% of 150? Okay, so our first job is to box things up. So we're going to box it so we can fight the problem. So we're going to box it up and fight the problem. So again, percent. Here's a percent sign. It's stuck to this number. So I'm going to put a box around it. Box it up. Of is stuck to 150. So I'm going to put a box around of 150. Of is stuck to 150, they go together. 60 is stuck to the percent, they go together. So what is, we don't know, right? We're still looking for the is. We're looking for the percent of the problem. What is what? We don't know. So now we're going to stick this back into our proportions. So now I've got this separated into 3 slots. I'm ready to put this into the problem. Always out of 100. 60% on top of 100. And then I need to figure out is, we don't know. We're solving for the is. And then 150 is the whole. It's the total, or the total cost, right? So now I'm ready to solve this problem. So I'm going to look at the ones that are across from each other. 150 is across from 60. We don't know this, so we can't multiply that by anything. Okay, so we're going to say, what is 150 times 60? So we're going to do 150 times 60. So these two are across from each other, so we're going to multiply, divide by 100, and that will give us x. All right, so again, pull out your calculator, clear it out. All right, we have 150 times 60, that equals 9,000, divided by 100. You can just cross off 2 zeros if you want, because 100 has 2 zeros, or you can use your calculator if you want to trust it. So x equals 90. So this would be 90 over 150 is equal to 60 over 100. Again, you could figure out, how do I get from 150 to 100? You could figure that part out. 100 divided by 150.666. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. So we are going to do 60 times point. And that would give us, what did I do? Oh, I divided. Did I divide? I don't think I divided. There we go. 90.00000. Okay, so there's that problem. So whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. Let's do another problem. So in this next problem, they are asking us to find problem C. All right, problem C. Again, we're going to use that same proportion. We're going to box up our problem, find the same proportion, and solve the numbers. Okay, it wants to know 80% of 75. So we're going to add in the front. What is 80% of 75? Okay, we're ready to box up the problem. So the percent, I'm going to start where the percent is. Here's the percentage sign stuck to 80. Of 75, so of 75 goes together. And then what is? We're looking for the is in our proportion. So x is, so we're looking for x. What is? Again, the 100 is always there because 80% is out of 100. Of 75. So 75 is our whole or our total. Total is 75. Now we're ready to figure out, how do we get from 75 to 100 and do the same on the top? Or we're going to solve this as a proportion and cross multiply. 75 times 80. Divided by 100 because we're going on the bottom so that we can get to our x. Divided by 100. All right, 75 times 80. So let's go ahead and pull out our calculators. 75 times 80 gives us 6,000 divided by 100. So you could just cross off the zeros and you get 60 over 1, or x equals 60. All right, it is your turn to do a try it. Again, I want you to set up a proportion, and then I want you to try to solve using the proportion. So box up your problem and then put it into a proportion. So here is your try-its. We're going to do 2 of them. 2 try-its. Try-it number 1. Try-it number 1 says 90% of 20. 90% of 20. So here you're going to have to ask yourself, what is 90% of 20? So add in the question, what is? Number 2, the second problem that I want you to solve asks 75% of 32. Okay, so again, you're going to need to add the is part in there. So go ahead and hit pause right now so you don't hear me solving, and then when you're ready, come on back to the Google Meet and hit play. Back to this Google video so that you can check your work. All right, so 90% of 20. I'm just going to add in here, is what? We don't know. So we're going to add the is because we don't know. Again, down here, we're going to add is what? That tells us that we need the X on there. Okay, so we're going to just box up this problem. 90% of 20. Of 20. Put those together. Is what? We don't know. We're going to solve for the what. Is what? We're going to solve for that. So now we're ready to set up our proportion. So we have, out of 100, 90% on the top, 20, and we're solving for X. Okay, so we're going to multiply across. 20 times 90 divided by 100 is our fish. Okay, so 20 times 90 divided by 100 is our fish. So 20. $1,800 over 100. Again, cross those off. We get X equals 18. So is 18. So 90% of 20 is 18. It's 18. All right, box up the next problem. Is what? That's what we're solving for, is X. Here's our percent. Again, you had to add the is what on there because we don't know. That part was missing. So we're ready to put these problems in. So we get 75%. I need to keep my colors the same so I don't confuse you. Over 100 equals X. X for the is. And 32 for my of, because that part was in blue. All right. Now we're ready to solve this problem. Cross multiply. 32 times 75. So we're going to do 32 times 75 divided by 100, and I get a goldfish. 32 times 75 divided by 100. Again, it's on the bottom. So 32 times 75. I don't know what I did with my calculator before. It's 2,400. All right, divided by 100. Cross, cross, cross. X equals 24. All right, go ahead and answer your essential question. how do we find the percent of a number? How do we find the percent of a number? And then put the missing part, and then put your level of understanding out to the side. Where are you at? When you're finished, you can come on back to the Google Meet and ask for help, or you can go and do your practice work. As always, I appreciate all of your hard work and effort, and make it a great day.